You're listening to Rep Radio. Our goal is simple. We support, promote, engage, and inspire the arts community by igniting the ghost light that shines on the stages of the up-and-coming, the unsung heroes, the brilliant writers, and the dynamic designers. Our podcast breaks the fourth wall to give you an inside look at the plays and the players. Stay tuned. Rep Radio is on the air. Today on the podcast, Without a Cue Productions stops by to talk about their latest offering, The Golden Girls Murder Mystery. Here is my interview with Without a Cue Productions. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Darnell Radford, and today I am in the virtual studio with Without a Cue Productions, and I am visually looking at, but we are audibly hearing, Tracy Connaughton. Tracy, welcome to Rep Radio.
Thank you for having me.
So I was just talking before we hit record about my first experience with Without a Cue Productions was in the summer at Peddler's Village for Murder at the Moulin, and we had such a great time. And I remembered hearing the advertisements about, I don't know if it was the same production or another production that was happening downtown at the time. And I said, I really got to experience this. So when that came about, I was really happy to jump on it and head to Peddler's Village for that experience. We had such a great time.
Wonderful.
But now that we're in the podcast and this is your first time here, tell us a little bit about you and about Without a Cue.
Okay. Well, Without a Cue Productions, we are going into our 20th year of producing interactive theater, and which sometimes makes me feel a little inseparable from the me and the Without a Cue. Not two separate things. I started the company back in 2012. That's when we had our first performance, and we rapidly grew from there. At the time, I was working on my master's degree in arts administration at Drexel University. And we didn't have a whole lot of resources. I didn't have a lot of resources starting up. I had $300 in the bank, and that's what I used to buy material to make costumes. Our first show was a 1920s called Dead Men Don't Speak Easy, a 1920s speakeasy show. So you couldn't buy flapper costumes on Amazon for $30 back then. You actually had to make them or have them made. So I made them, and my mother did a lot of the sewing, and we just rented a system, and we started performing that way. And within a year or so, we were fully running every weekend, doing multiple shows on a Friday and Saturday. And that's what we've been doing since then. In 2019, before everything shut down, we performed 485 shows.
Wow.
That's a lot. It was a lot. And then after COVID shut everything down, we started first we did virtual performances, and we did virtual parties over Zoom. And we still do those, just obviously not as many. We were doing 5 or 6 a day through that first April 2020 when we first started. We were doing a lot of them. And then come June of 2020, we started doing walking tour murder mysteries, which is what you heard about downtown last summer. And we did that in Cape May and Philadelphia. And then we started performing outside, doing our full shows, like the tented show you saw, Murder at the Moulin. Mm-hmm. And now we are back inside, which is super exciting because we don't have to worry about the rain anymore.
That's great. The first thing I thought of was this this seems like such a large operation, and I was thinking about how many actors, artists, professionals make up Without a Cue Productions.
Well, at our height, we had 50 actors on staff. They're all part-time. We had 50 actors. I have a part-time management team of 4 people. So they all support me in different ways, from social media to directing shows and just running stuff around sometimes. They are all also performers for the company. And we have a few in-house script writers as well. So it's a pretty large operation. It's a lot of about 30 or 40 actors on staff.
Wow. And I'm still blown away at the operation that is Without a Cue. When you're thinking about starting a nonprofit, especially here in Philadelphia, I guess you could say there are enough theater companies. Or how do you set yourself apart from all the theater companies we have? Would you classify Without a Cue Productions as a theater company?
I tend to more classify us as entertainment. We're actually not a not-for-profit. We are for-profit.
Okay, great.
So we're not structured as a 501c3. Which gives us a lot of flexibility. And entertainment. We are immersive, we are interactive, and we use elements of theater to create our productions.
Cool.
So, and also since we're not a proscenium stage, we work right within the crowd. We interact with the crowd. That it's a very different form of theater. It's much more malleable. And at times volatile because the audience will interact with us during the performance. Every performance looks different.
Yeah. And are there specific locations that Without a Cue Productions performs in that you tend to call home?
Yes, Ben Salem. We are at Fisher's Tudor House. We're there every weekend, Friday and Saturday night. We'll have Golden Girls there as well, just a different one. We have 3 Golden Girls shows. Sure. We also work with the Physic Estate in Cape May. We'll be back there this summer. And let's see. Dove Valley Winery, we're usually there in Rising Sun, Maryland. We're there like twice a month until we run out of things and we need to make new ones for them. And then there's like 100 other clients that we work with on a regular basis, quarterly or once or twice a year. So we get very familiar and comfortable with them.
Yeah. And what is the process of creating one of these shows? Like, what does that look like?
Okay. Well, the first thing is getting the script. So whether I'm hiring a scriptwriter to write something, or I'm writing it myself, or I just find something that I get the rights to, we get the script. We plan what the dates are going to be and where it's going to be. Then once we've solidified our location and I can conceptualize what it's going to look like in that space, then we line up our cast and we work from in-house actors first. So we go through our list and see who can manage all the dates that we have scheduled and who has the time to rehearse and can perform and what have you. Then once we've filled out from in-house, we then move on to open auditions. We audition a lot because we're constantly booking. So if there are actors listening to this, I'm sure you've seen our audition notices quite a lot recently as we try to rebuild our staff. And then we do a very short rehearsal process. Every actor has to attend 7 rehearsals. Most of our roles are double cast so that there's flexibility for the actors and for us. And because we might have the booking on the same night and we have to move actors around, we can do up to 7 shows in one evening. So at the same time, we are prepared for that. And we rehearse the actors pretty quickly over a month period. It is a very down and dirty process. There is not a whole lot of time for really working things out in rehearsal, so homework has to be done. lines have to be learned, and blocking has to be committed to memory so that when we are in the rehearsal time, we're maximizing and really working out the scenes and the bits. And while all of that is happening, I'm working on costume design and whatever we need prop-wise. We don't do sets typically. We just come in with our props and our actors, and the room becomes our set. And then from there, we're up and running. First performance comes, we show up, and we do the job.
That's a lot. Okay, so you've done all of that. The most important question, are you tired? Are you well? Are you happy?
I am tired, especially this week with an opening happening this Saturday. But I'm definitely well.
Great.
I did not catch your last question, though.
Oh, I said, are you tired? Are you happy? Are you well?
I'm definitely happy. We are having a blast. And I've been doing this for 20 years. This is what I wanted to do once I got out of college and tried a few jobs and knew that those other things I was looking for weren't for me. And so I'm doing what I love. I really enjoy it. There are things I would definitely tweak in how we get things done. But once the world settles down and we get on more firm footing again, we'll be able to put all of that in place. It's just been a moving target the past 2 years.
Yeah, definitely. I know as some of the restrictions are kind of easing up, people are, proceeding with caution, trying to think about what are the best thing, what's the best way forward that will still keep everyone safe and keep our, expectations at a nominal level to keep everything happy.
And it's definitely a navigation. There are lots of different opinions on how that goes, and we get to see all of them. A full range, since we work in so many different places.
Yeah. So in comes Golden Girls Mystery.
Yes.
So tell us about these two, you said 3 shows, right? There's 3 mysteries or 2?
Yes, there are 3 different mysteries.
Yes. So tell us about Golden Girls Mystery.
Okay. Well, I'll start with the first one. We produced that 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. I'm going to say we're on 12 years of doing that show. And that was just the original, the Golden Girls Murder Mystery that we did. And we started it was supposed to be a holiday show. It was the Golden Girls Holiday Murder Mystery, and we needed a holiday show. We didn't have one at that time. So we chose that mainly because it was easy for costuming, because the other options was Dickens, and that was far more difficult to costume. And we discovered the audience responded to it so well. And it was the 4 ladies and then 1 extra character, a gentleman caller of all of theirs, it turned out. And he is, of course, the one that dies, but then comes back as a detective. And it was responded to very well. And we realized that the holiday element of it really wasn't in there. There were 2 mentions of holiday, and then it was dropped completely. So we just cut those lines out and continued to produce it. And it picked up a sort of steam that we did not expect. We were doing it for a lot of bus trips, during the day, during the week, and every place we took it, it sold out. So we performed it and performed it and performed it and performed it until we realized that our audiences had all seen it already. And we're coming back a second time. And that's when we decided to move on to the next script on the list, which is the one we're performing now at Craft Hall. That is the Golden Girls Murder Mystery, The Curse of Jessica Fletcher. Jessica Fletcher does make an appearance, as does a mystery detective. And we produced that one and ran it, I'm going to say we started it 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. But it has been a good 4 years since we have used it. So it's sort of like it's brand new again, because none of our audience has seen it for 4 years. The third one, which is at Fisher's Tudor House right now, is The Golden Girls Murder Mystery, Sophia's Surprise. And that is just the four ladies. However, there is a surprise character that joins us. And this is one that I wrote. It pulls very heavily from things that happened in the series on the show. So there are a lot of references to things that fans of the Golden Girls are going to recognize. We've only been performing that one since October, so that one's basically brand new for us.
Great.
And we'll have to do a fourth in another year or so.
Yeah. Well, the canon of 180 episodes of the Golden Girls must be, it must be hard to figure out, like, what sort of elements to pull in, or the possibilities are endless for Golden Girls mysteries.
There's so much to work with out there. And actually, when I was writing Sophia's Surprise, I came up with an idea and I was working with it, and I've only watched a few episodes of the show, and I watched it more religiously way back when I was much younger, but I've forgotten most of that. So as I was directing it, I watched a few episodes, but I don't really know all the facts around the characters in every episode. Mm-hmm. So I was writing the script, and then I was like, well, let me just fact check this and see if there's anything similar within the show that I need to address. And it turned out that what I was writing was actually a plot line from one of the episodes. There was this whole dynamic between these two characters, and I was pretty excited about that. And then I just kind of completely rolled with that.
Yeah. And as I was thinking about all of this, I was saying, any thoughts on Murder at the Golden Palace?
You know, much like the Golden Palace, it's not quite the same without Dorothy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a script out there that we looked at that is Dorothy free, and it just didn't have the same feeling.
Yeah.
Dorothy is so much a part of that show, and a part of how the banter works between them is B. Arthur's delivery, and basically the straight man needs to be there. Everybody else is a little bit crazy. But comedically, you need that buffer, that connection with the audience that Dorothy tends to be.
Yeah, and this was sort of returning to the space at what would have been the 100th birthday of Betty White. Was that
Yes.
part of the plan?
Well, we perform Golden Girls all the time. So it's just bringing it in and performing it was already in the plan before she passed away. What we have changed is that we will be donating a portion of every ticket to Paws in Philadelphia in honor of her love and philanthropy surrounding animals.
Oh, that's great. I'm going to make a note of that. For our fans who love the little ones. That's
And I have to remember to send an email to let them know that we're doing that.
That's such a great addition. So, what do you think? What do you think is the draw of the Golden Girls? Why have they had such staying power all these many years?
I think it's because the characters, while they're a little bit outlandish, they're also relatable. And there is something about seeing these women who aren't, like super young, or you feel very comfortable with them, and they're like people that you know. Then on top of that, the writing is really good, and it's very funny, and the acting is fantastic. One of the things that I found out recently, which I think is amazing, is that all of Rose's, not all of them, but large portions of Rose's St. Olaf stories, Betty White just made up. She would just start riffing, and I found that really phenomenal, coming from a background of improv, and that we work so loosely around our scripts, and we allow our actors a lot of freedom. I was like, that's fantastic. That's how we work as well. And also that they addressed social issues that were unusual to be seen on television at the time. And that really made people feel seen and represented in ways that they weren't on television. So I think there's just so many layers to that. And there's such a love for what those four women produced 30 years ago that it has sustained till now.
Yeah. And the reruns are like comfort food. It's like I could eat this cheesecake, or I could just watch the Golden Girls, or I could eat the cheesecake and watch the Golden Girls,
which makes it even better.
Yes. Speaking of cheesecake, there is an edible component to this murder mystery. Let's talk about that.
Oh, it's the best. I'm so excited about the menu because it is Craft Hall in Philadelphia on Delaware Avenue. They created a whole menu that is themed to each one of the characters. So the first thing everyone gets when they get in is a shot of limoncello and an antipasta plate that is from Dorothy and Sophia. That is the Dorothy and Sophia Italian portion of the evening. And then also the part of the interaction is that the guests will have a scavenger hunt to do through an app on their phone, getting selfies of them doing certain things with the characters. And the first thing they get to do is get a picture of them doing a shot with Sophia, which is super fun. Then the next plate that comes out at the first break, that is Blanche's offering, and her drink is, and I tasted it this morning, it was fantastic, a combination of rum, Southern Comfort, and orange juice, and it's just delightful. And there's a barbecue chicken salad plate with a whole bunch of other Southern kind of things around it. There is also a vegetarian option for that plate.
Good.
And then finally, we have Rose's drink and the cheesecake. So at the last break, you get cheesecake and this wonderful pink fizzy vodka thing that tastes like candy. It is so good. So the menu is fantastic. You get 3 drinks and 3 plates in addition to the show. And also the interaction with the characters and secret clues and whatnot. So it's a lot of fun.
I'm just going to give you a round of applause for that menu.
I didn't come up with that. That's Craft Hall. They did an amazing job. I'm so excited about it.
Oh, when I saw that on the list, I just thought it was going to be amazing because one of my questions was going to be, will there be cheesecake? And
of course.
Yes, there will
that was the only thing I said. I'm like, as far as the menu, you have, all the creativity you want to go with, but there has to be cheesecake. That's a must.
Great. Oh, that's so great. So now for a little bit of fun. Who is your favorite Golden Girl and why?
Rose. Rose is my favorite. She is hilarious. I played both Sophia and Rose. And I do not do a good Betty White impression. I will tell you that right now. I pinch hit on Rose. I'm not the best Rose. Sophia is far more my comfort zone. But Rose is so much fun because the innocence around her and the goodness and the how naive she is. So all the lines are said with such conviction. She completely believes everything she says, and there is not an ounce of any kind of mean-spiritedness to it at all. Yeah. And people just love her, and her stories are fantastic to tell, especially since, how her stories can be long and rambling. And I've told the actors, you don't have to be word for word on these lines. You can go off and make it up however you want, make up the names and the places and whatever, because it doesn't matter how outlandish the story is. The more, the better. And it's just so much fun to play in that headspace. And Betty White was just so talented and so wonderful. So yes, Rose is my favorite.
Yes. And Tell us about some of the audience responses over the years.
Oh gosh. So once word really got out there, we were having people come in from like Ohio to see the show, and they will come fully decked out, whether they're dressed as the Golden Girls from head to toe, or they have T-shirts on, like squad goals and things like that. We have so many pictures of audience members that are adorned in some way to celebrate the Golden Girls. And when they come in like that, when they roll in like that, you know it's going to be a good night because they are just so ready to play. And the laughter just starts. Oh my gosh, we walk in singing "Thank You for Being a Friend," and the whole room sings with us.
Yeah.
So just imagining 150 people, they're just so excited they get to have that moment. And from then, they're just involved, they're engaged, they just keep laughing. They have such a wonderful energy about them. And afterward, we stick around afterward to let people take pictures as they go by, and just hundreds and hundreds of pictures of people with their arms around us. And we've past year or so, we backed off from the picture taking a little because there's a lot of hugging. But yeah, it's just such a joyful feeling in the room, and it's reminiscent of our holiday shows around the holiday season, and everyone is so joyful, and it's like we get to have that feeling all year round when we're performing with the Golden Girls.
That's great. And from your visual and from the past years, how does the audience skew? Is it more of a generational older audience? Is it a younger? Is it running all over?
It's all over. I will say that it is far more female, especially in the past couple of years. It seems to be like a real girls' night out kind of trip, girls' night out, event. When we first started, it wasn't so much that way. It was a much more mixed audience. A lot of couples, the woman bought the ticket, the man went along. But we've been seeing recently that it's skewed more female, but age-wise, it's all over the place, which is fascinating to see. I think that the cutoff is probably around 30, though, because some of my younger actors have no idea what the Golden Girls are, and I have to educate them.
You're like, go get a Hulu account. Go get it.
Or just put on the Hallmark channel. It's always on.
Yeah, well, for any listeners who do not know where to find the Golden Girls, what is wrong with you? The entire collection is on Hulu, and I think they just added the Golden Palace, if you're into that as well.
Yep. So that's tons and tons of episodes.
Yeah. Oh, it's so exciting to see, one, that we're just able to assemble, as a group and have a good time and not be so focused on the world. I know there's a lot going on right now, and we can definitely use an escape. And like I said earlier, with the Golden Girls being comfort food and sort of like that warm blanket on a Saturday, I feel like this event would be something like that as well. If you're listening and you haven't purchased tickets, you buy tickets and make this a wonderful experience.
Yes, and there's just so much laughter and so much joy in the room, and it feels so good to be surrounded by that and let a little of the tension out, because it's been a ride.
Yeah, it has been. What did you miss the most about the last 2 years with the adjustments we had to make for the pandemic? What did you miss about your productions prior that you're looking forward to returning to and sort of, welcoming back into these experiences?
I'd say the first thing is performing without anxiety. There was such a long period of time, even though we were outside, things were just so uncertain, and nobody knew how any of the virus was working. And we would have like this having to separate people and tell them to stand on dots and keeping the actors so far separate. It's that feeling of being able to come closer again. I especially like in rehearsals that since my entire staff is vaccinated, we can rehearse together in one space. We were doing rehearsals over Zoom for a year and a half, and that is not an effective rehearsal, I'm going to tell you. So just being able to have us all together in one space felt so good, and feeling that dynamic of actual people in the space together is really what I missed. We were able to get out and perform a lot earlier because since we have that immersive, no proscenium kind of element to us to begin with. Transitioning to the walking tours allowed us to still be able to be in person with the crowd, but it was a smaller crowd. We were outside, they could space out, and being able to do that, I think, kept us from losing our minds, really, at a time when we needed to feel that connection. So we were able to do that early, and we continued to do it all throughout. And like I said, it's nice to go back indoors because the walking tours are wonderful, and we will be bringing them back to Philadelphia, and it's just so nice to perform outside and make the entire street our stage. But having to watch the weather all day long is really, really nerve-wracking. Yeah. So it's nice to be able to know that no matter what we do on Saturday, we're going to be dry.
Every time someone plans an outdoor event, particularly a wedding, it always makes me nervous for them. I just I hope Mother Nature shows up and does a great, makes a wonderful presentation for us all.
Yes, because it can be amazing or it can be really disappointing.
Yeah, I think I've come from stage management. That was my introduction to theater. I always adopted that mindset. Anything can and will happen, and you always want to try to control as much as you can, with your many if-thens and plan B, C, and Ds. But there's only so much you can do with weather. You have no real control over it. You just have to try to get ahead of it if you can.
Yeah. And there aren't that many plan Bs when it pours down, other than, okay, everybody run, go home.
Yeah.
We're done.
So as we're talking now, the Golden Girls Mysteries are in circulation. How long will they be in circulation this time around?
We are scheduled to perform Fletcher at Craft Hall through April 3rd now. It was originally April 2nd. We have added April 3rd to be part of Philly Theater Week. Mm-hmm. And the performance at Fisher's, at the very least, will be going till the end of April, probably till the end of May. And then in terms of our other venues, we are booking pretty solidly right up through June. So we'll be going up to Lehigh Conference Center and back down to Maryland, and quite a few other locations with Golden Girls. And then we will likely take a break come July because we have a bunch of other new projects that happen in the summer with our shore venues.
Yeah, cool. Well, this is great. I was excited last week. I'm excited this week. I am looking forward to it this weekend. I've been blasting my friends in a group chat, and I said, "Did you get your tickets yet? Got to get your tickets." Thank you for being a friend.
I will say
Go
the
get
6
tickets.
p.m. is sold out.
Yes.
So, yeah, that one's sold out. So if anybody wants to go this weekend, it is the 9 p.m. that's still open.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be great, and I love the fact that it is running for a bit, so you do have time. If you miss this this opening kind of weekend, there will be some opportunities, but don't miss this opportunity. You got to be a part of this experience. The Golden Girls Murder Mystery is presented by Without a Q Productions, and for more information, you can visit withoutaq.com. for that, and we'll have the links to that in our posting as well. Tracy Cannon, thank you so much for taking the time to unpack this, to tell us more about Without a Q and the Golden Girls murder mystery. And as more productions come, I hope you'll come back and talk to me about them.
I would love to. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Rep Radio is an Emory production. You can find Rep Radio on social media at Rep Radio on Facebook, at Rep_radio on Instagram and Twitter. For more information, visit us online at em3ry.com. Ride with us. Emory is on the move.